everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish on the Movies. And guess what? It's October and we're doing Halloween month. And our first movie is
Our first movie was Road Games, Safi.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I consider this more Halloween than that, but we're doing the Addams Family movie, the very first one that debuted in 1991. It originated from a series of 150 single-panel cartoons published by the New Yorker magazine from 1938 until the death of artist Charles Addams in 1988. It also was turned into a TV sitcom from 1964 until 1966. And since then, this movie and other movies and all kinds of things have been come from that. The main characters in this first movie are Angelica Houston as Morticia, Raul Julia as Gomez.
Julia?
Yeah, that's, well, she's Spanish. That's what they don't pronounce their J's. Christina Ricci as Wednesday. Jimmy Workman as Pugsley. Christopher Lloyd, Uncle Fester. Judith Molina, Granny. Carol Strachan, Lurch. And Christopher Hart's Hand as Thing.
Safi, you didn't even
I didn't mention any of the other, like there's no, I didn't.
Look at your title. No, flip back. Look at your title. No, wait, no, you spelled it wrong. If you guys don't know, Safi writes out her reviews because she can't talk freely. And she misspelled Adam. She put Adam as in, like, the normal Addams. Even though the Addams family is with 2 D's.
Okay, well, whatever.
I think that's pretty funny.
I enjoyed watching this movie very much. It made me laugh from beginning to end. I loved the characters and thought the casting for them was really good. The movie opens with a group of Christmas carolers outside the Addams house, singing Deck the Halls, a bright, cheery song, and dressed in their matching wool hats and sweaters, and singing in their perfect choral voices. Unbeknownst to them, Morticia, Gomez, Lurch, and Granny stand above them on a ledge about to pour a vat of boiling hot liquid onto the singers. However, they didn't show anything happening as a result.
Unfortunately.
You just laughed but moved on. By the way, I love the cuckoo clock, which showed the house and family. They only showed it once, I believe, but I just liked it. There's a couple of plot lines. The biggest one is Gomez and Morticia are talking about having a family seance that they have every year. Ever since Gomez had a fight with his brother Fester, and they had a falling out, and they haven't seen him for 25 years. And they have done this seance, I believe, every year of his not being there. Well, the family lawyer finds out because he's there when they're talking about it, and he wants to steal his money. Gomez and the Addams family are extremely rich. They have a lot of money, and the lawyer knows it. And so he decides with his wife to find somebody, and he sees something where a guy who looks like Fester, and he hires them to help him steal the money, and they get some too. So a woman posing as a psychiatrist brings in a man who's dressed like Fester and really looks a lot like his picture. That's why he thought it would work. And to impersonate Fester and to help him steal the money. Well, anyway, just a short thing, that the only other plot line is Pugsley's getting ready for some ceremony, and I don't remember the name, but I don't really get it. It's kind of like a coming of age ceremony, for this family.
Wasn't that the animated one?
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, well,
Oh.
the biggest
Safi.
I just watched the animated one too. But this plot line about stealing the money is the deal. And there's a surprise ending, and the pathway to getting there is full of lots of comic and family moments. Okay, Marco, go ahead.
Well, I think that my biggest issue with this movie is that is the last like 40 minutes of the movie. The first hour of the movie is pretty good, actually. It's got a lot of great acting, a lot of great jokes, and it really feels like a great movie. But then the second half comes basically after the party and the whole party thing, and after all that and all of that stuff after that, it's cliche. There's this part where, you know, you have to have the sad period where the characters are apart and they're really sad and they miss the other person, and, you know, seen it a million times. You have to have the scene where the liar gets discovered and they get exposed and it's really sad. And then there's this part where the villains outsmart them and they're really sad. And it's just very dull. And it's so funny because for such an abnormal group of people and such an abnormal setting, the story is very normal and conventional and mainstream. And I really think that the movie could have used a lot more unconventional ways of doing things in the second half. Because in the second half, it's just, I did not like that second half. And it has nothing to do with like me being a critic or anything, because I didn't like the second half as a kid either. I didn't like this movie as a kid either. I prefer the sequel, The Addams Family Values, a lot more, and I still do. I watched it already earlier this year, like in January, and I much prefer Addams Family Values. It's so much better. And then there's other little things, like I think that the kids are very kiddie. Like, they really act like kids. They don't really act like their characters very much. They act like innocent kids still. And so I think that that's a problem that's fixed with the sequel, where Wednesday becomes Wednesday. But in this movie, it's like she's half Wednesday, half Christina Ricci. And then also, I think that it's really focused on two characters for the most part, right, Safi? What's the main guy's name?
Fester and Gomez.
Gomez and Fester. It's really just all about them, and they're really good. I mean, they have great chemistry, and that's all really good. And that whole first half was practically flawless. I'm talking about the second half, where I have a lot of issues. And then they have this party where supposedly all the Addams family are there, including all these other people. And they all look like normal people. They don't look like Addams family. Like, they just all look like normal people dressed up in costumes. You know, they don't look abnormal at all. And there's other issues too. I mean, the villain characters, they get what they deserve, but we don't even get to see it really. And I think that there could have been a lot more, as I said, unconventional, creative venues and ways of doing things. I think that the movie completely lost what it had in the first half and the second half. And Safi probably disagrees because she doesn't really dislike anything. You know, she even liked that new Invisible Man movie that came out this year.
No, I didn't. I haven't finished watching it, and no, I don't really care for it.
Oh, tell us more, Safi.
Well, I can't tell you much more because I've only watched like 20 minutes of it so far, but I turned it off because I really didn't care for it. Okay?
Okay.
But I'm going to finish watching it because I committed to doing it.
And I actually think, I know obviously you can't make a sequel really because Raul, as Safi called him, Raul Julia.
That's right. Raul.
He's not around anymore.
He had a heart attack.
But the thing is, though, is that something in this movie did get me interested was they kept on talking about the ancestors, like that witch that Wednesday really looks up to, and like all the ones that they had to kill in various ways. And to me, I really like to see a movie where it's like a prequel that's all about them, or maybe about just one of them or something, like about that witch. And I think that would be a good idea for a sequel if they still thought that they could do that instead of doing these little babyish animated movies.
You mean a live action?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you think that'd be a good?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. That's actually the animated version covered that a little tiny bit.
A tiny bit.
And but to see it in a live action and have more detail and maybe focus on one and then bring along the rest, that would be really good. And also, I want to say the characters in the animated one, they didn't look like the family that came to join them didn't look like regular people. They all look like monsters.
No, they looked like regular people.
Oh, I don't think so.
They looked like normal people who...
In the animated version?
Oh no.
No, they didn't. And that's what Marco would like to say. Well, it's confusing.
Well, I mean...
To talk about both at the same time, but that's... Marco would like the characters to look more like what they envisioned with the animated characters.
Well,
instead of making them all look like regular people, that's not right.
They don't look like the Addams family at all. Like, they don't look like they fit together.
Well, they look like they're from the neighborhood or the town or something.
And they looked like they're just normal people going to a Halloween party.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was trash. But there were some things I really liked. I mean, obviously the whole first half. I mean, it's funny because when I say that encompasses a lot of things, saying that I like the first half. But there is a huge plot hole that I just thought of, which I really don't care about spoilers because this movie's like 40 years old or whatever. And so if you haven't seen it by now, then get a life and go see it. So spoilers, basically Fester, the guy pretending to be him, he is Uncle Fester, and he lost his memory after he was in the Bermuda Triangle. And this woman basically found him and brainwashed him into being her son. And to me, I thought it was retarded how she brought him to the Addams family. Because if he really is Uncle Fester, then why would you want him to get close to that family? Because he would naturally start to like them like he does in the movie. And so, like, why would you take that chance and let him go there?
Because she let her greed overcome her... what would you call intelligence or reasoning?
Yeah, that was stupid. And I did not like her. I thought she did a terrible job. I thought her character was very boring, very stereotypical. I thought they should have gotten some other actress to play that character, like maybe another TV mom, like a person who's played a famous mom, like the woman from Married with Children.
No, she wasn't. Yeah. She wasn't around then. What? I never saw her. She was not around.
She wasn't around in the 80s?
Oh, okay. Well, she might have been too busy. They sure made an awful lot of episodes.
Well, I'm just saying, like, a TV mom in general, some sort of a famous mom. We talked about, I can't remember the other suggestions that I made.
I was thinking of Florence Henderson, maybe.
Lawrence Henderson?
Yeah, she's the one.
That's a woman?
Florence Henderson.
Oh, I thought you said Lawrence.
No, put an F in front of that and you get Florence.
Okay, what was she in?
Oh, I can't think of.
Uh-oh.
I'm brain dead, really, today. I can think of the song that goes with the show, with the two families that come together, and the two families that come together, and they talk about they show the house, and
Okay.
some of the cast, Marsha.
I don't think that exists, Safi.
Oh, Marco, if everybody would know what I'm talking
Florence
about.
Henderson.
Florence Henderson and the guy who
Is she a part of the orangutan
the Brady
family?
Bunch.
Like the Hendersons?
The Brady Bunch.
Okay.
That's what
No.
I had to think.
I don't think so. We need to get someone. They should have gotten someone else, a mother type character, because her character could have been really evil. I never really felt like the villains matched up with the Addams family. There was an underlying thread of horror throughout the movie, where the Addams family would be really nice, and yet they would be like doing some really disturbing things. Like there's this part where, is it their accountant? Is that guy their accountant or?
No, he's the lawyer.
Oh, okay, he's a lawyer. Okay, well, Gomez is sword fighting him, and he literally slices open his shirt, and if he wasn't careful, he could slice open his stomach and kill him. And so I think that like stuff like that really worked because it was uncomfortable to watch. It was a little horror in there, and so I really liked that aspect of the movie and wish that there was more of that. And the parts with Uncle Fester, like it was pretty intense because Uncle Fester, I mean, they would have really done some bad shit to him if they didn't ever figure out he's Uncle Fester, and they would have killed him and they would have like tortured him to death, and so like the thing with like him having to pretend, but like it's really him, like it is pretty they did a good job with doing that stuff and making it actual horror with some of that stuff. But again, it fails in that second half where it really becomes cliche after cliche after cliche. So what would you say about the movie, Safi? Give your review.
I did.
Oh,
I liked the movie.
Did you get the food review?
No, I wanted to wait until you were done.
That's what I'm asking you for.
Oh, okay. Well, like I said, I liked the movie a lot because it made me laugh, which nothing much has made me laugh lately. And I also thought it had a good message, like, even though it wasn't really predominant or blaring, but I thought it was that sometimes people are smarter than they look, and don't judge a book by its cover, because they would make the lawyer and the mother and those two basically, they thought they were idiots and they were stupid because they did silly things, but they were really, the Addams family was really very smart. They just had their own look and their own way of doing things.
They're evil.
The Addams family's evil?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. But anyway, I gave it dirt cake. I had it on something else, but I thought it was more appropriate because, and with gummy worms in it. I make dirt cake about 2 or 3 times a year for like special occasions like 4th of July. I don't usually put the gummy worms in it, kind of very rarely, because it's good enough by itself. But I thought
gummy worms make it too sweet.
I thought each gummy worm would be like if you put a few, like maybe the best jokes that they did during the movie, that each gummy worm would represent the best joke. So maybe put 4 or 5, something like that, or maybe just 4 or 3, I don't know. But it's, in case you don't know what dirt cake is, because unbelievable to me, a lot of people don't. And it's Oreo cookies and cream cheese, powdered sugar, butter, vanilla pudding or any kind of pudding, instant pudding mix, milk.
Yeah, so basically,
I think that's it.
Basically,
right?
You have the Oreo dirt, and then you have the pudding part.
And the filling, it's all mixed together.
And it's layers.
And Cool Whip, yeah, it's put into layers, and it is really
And
It's really good.
why would you rate this movie Dirt Cake?
Well, because it looks like dirt, and it's
It looks
really
like
it's
dirt.
really sweet and tastes good,
Okay.
and it has a filling, and which is really good. And then like I said, each gummy worm would represent a really good joke or part of the movie. And since it's Halloween, and that's kind of like actually more of a Halloween dessert. In fact, I did a kids' party a million years ago when Marco was a little kid, and I think I made like a kind of a dirt cake. It was in a flat.
You put marshmallow tombstones in it.
Yeah. Well, it was in a sheet cake pan, I believe, and so I gave out like squares of it. Well, I tried. You can't really make that into squares. And like Marco said, I don't know if they make them anymore, but there's marshmallow tombstones.
You said the movie looks like dirt.
Well, it's not what you think. You think these people are ugly, weirdo, monster-looking people, or just strange, and they may look like that, but underneath they're smarter than they look.
And then you say, and then you say there's
Poor Marco. Why don't you give your review now instead of laughing at mine?
You say that there's only 4 gummy worms.
Well, I don't know.
And the gummy worms.
You don't want to. You're going to count every single. Like if they did like one every few minutes. Or one every 10 minutes. Wouldn't put 25 gags in there or 25 gummy worms. It would make it taste terrible.
Well, you said
that would be bad.
You said they represented all the jokes.
I'm trying not to laugh.
There's only 4 jokes in the whole movie.
That isn't what I mean at all, but I think you heard what I meant, so. Poor Marco, I don't know if he's going to be able to get to this review.
And then
Why don't you give me your review? I can't wait to hear it.
Well,
okay?
uh-oh. Okay, I would actually give this movie, I thought about it, I give it a bag of gummy worms.
Oh. Actually, it's weird because when I think of the gummy worms, I think of the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay. Well, no, I don't give it sour gummy worms, so I just give it regular ones. You know, ones that don't have the sour dust on them.
Oh.
Because I thought about it, it's just because I like the first half, but I don't really think I want to watch this movie again for a while because it's very, very generic, even though it's tackling like a very non-conventional story. And like there's this part at the end where they basically make the villains fly out the window using a hurricane book.
A book, and you open it up and it blows out this hurricane-forced winds.
Yeah, and they fly out and they land inside these coffins, and the coffins close, and they're like, are they alive still? And she's like, it doesn't matter. And that's like really dark, and it's a really good ending for such evil characters, but I would have liked to have seen them scream for help and die and decompose. And I think that if Tim Burton was doing this movie, he could have done like some sort of a creative like stop motion type of really fun effect where you get to see like the time lapse of them turning into skeletons, and then maybe you could have the skeletons still screaming out for help, and so it wouldn't be that intense, but I would want to see that because I hated their characters so much. I thought that their characters were stupid as hell, messing with the Addams family, and I thought that they were probably some of the weakest horror movie villains I've ever seen in history.
Well, do you think we should spoil and tell them how it got to be that they found out that was Fester, or let them see it for themselves? Because
Well, I already mentioned how she found him, but
yeah, but I mean, how did
there's lightning.
He didn't
He
know.
He gets
had,
struck by lightning.
and he has amnesia, and something happens near the end where he gets hit by lightning in the end,
And
and then that wakes him up or shocks him, because when you get it's like an electrocution.
I thought that was kind of unfortunate though, because I thought like his character was so he had such a well developed character where he changed, but it wasn't believable at the same time. Like he really, like, he's almost like a method actor. I mean, if he was not Uncle Fester, then you'd think, like, why isn't this guy acting? Because he could just, like, become any part and you'd totally believe him. But no, he's the real Uncle Fester. So I thought, you know, like, he should be an actor or something, because he's just completely, like, into the role. And I really like the parts where he didn't know, like, he didn't know things, like he didn't know the password, the secret password that he made up with his brother. And I really like stuff like that, because it showed that, like, he had to really, I don't know, like, he had to convince them. And it's like this, it's this frightening thing, because as I said, they're evil. And like, they kill their own relatives, and they're really evil people. And like, you listen to what the witch did. I mean, she said they said she, like, took someone's slave, and she did all this other crap. Like, they're not good people. I mean, they're sinister. And in the second one, they become more likable though. Like, at the end, when they do that thing at camp and everything, like, stuff like that, they become a lot. I definitely prefer the second one.
Okay.
So
well, I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah, that's it.
What movie are we going to watch next, Marco?
Rosemary's Baby.
Oh boy.
We're watching Rosemary's Baby next, and
the old one, not the newer one.
Directed by the pedophile rapist.
Oh boy. Let's not get into that.
And it has his wife in it too, who got killed. And it also has that evil piece of shit Anton LaVey in it. You know, that the head of the Satan Church, the Church of Satan. You know, that bald-headed guy.
I don't know anything about that.
He's probably what, and he's a disgusting person. He literally plays Satan in the movie, so I can't wait to see that. But
okay, well,
so
bye everybody.
What should people do first, Safi?
They should like and subscribe, make a comment, whatever.
Dislike it too.
We'd appreciate it a lot.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.